another thing. The reason why the so-called Black Americans have the most inventions in the United States of America is because we the original people of the land. We are the American Indians. So I don't understand how y'all believe in that story that they can take millions and millions of Africans over here when they don't have no boats to prove it. They still got the slave houses, but they don't got no boats. That don't even make sense. And then also, so they gonna take you from a foreign land, well, take you to a foreign land and teach you how to, like, you just gonna know how to crop. That land is a totally different land. Like, it just don't make sense. We the only people on this land that had a paper genocide. How many names that we been reclassified to? When I go look on my genealogy, it's so many different names, from color, mulatto, Negro. I mean, it's just a lot. Like, we're the only one with paper genocide, and we have the most patents in this country. When they used to hear that Indian and Pilgrim story when you was younger and stuff, like, just think about that. And also, if you remember, we used to have that crayon, and it used to be called Indian, and it was brown. That's another example. And then, I don't know if y'all women know, is it the Indian clay that come and you can mix the apples in the apple cider vinegar and mix it in there. Them so-called Indian people now, how would they put that in their hair? In their hair, it's not made for their hair. Like, if you just pay attention to, like, the simplest things, and even if you go back when you were younger, and they always be like, I got Indian in my family. Also, I remember I went to Bali, and our tour guide person was basically, well, he was like, I don't know if he was our tour guide, yeah, but he was our driver as well. He was just saying, like, yeah, them Europeans in America is not the original America. The original Americans is basically melanated people, which I always knew that, because, like, even the slave trade stuff don't make sense. Yes, there was slavery all around the globe, but it happened to the people on their land. The people came on their land and conquered the people. If you think about it, like, even when I went to Zanzibar, and they was telling us how, like, the Zanzibar people had got colonized by, like, two different people. I forgot who they was, but, like, yes, there was slavery, but it was happening on the lands of where the original people were. Like, the melanated people are, like, indigenous all over the world. So people were coming to their lands and conquering them on their land. They did not take millions of people from there and take us all the way to the United States. Even when you look at the so-called slave voyage, it has, what, less than 100,000 people supposedly from Africa that came here. So I don't understand, how could you get millions of people over here? You still don't have no boats. Then I don't want to hear the story, oh, the boats messed up. How the boats? And it just don't make sense logically if you think about how stuff is, like, to get from Africa to here. Like, that stuff take long time. Like, and then if you just think about it, like, if you even go back to when we were in, like, I know I'm a little older, but when we was in school, they used to show us roots and stuff every year, try to indoctrinate you with that stuff. Like, that is a made-up story. I don't understand how, like, y'all really can say, oh, you captured us. No, it was slavery in Africa. They got enslaved by the Arab people as well, along with the Europeans. Yes, there was slavery in Americas and in Africa, but they happened on the land. They wasn't taking millions of Africans and just putting them on this land. Why would they take them from over there and just put them in the land to enslave them if they already had people over here? And then you just come over here and magically can know how to crop, know how to build everything. No, even if you think about when they say the Indians, like, original, like, food that's, like, indigenous to American, like, when you think of corn and stuff like that, like, us as black people, we make cornbread, hot water cornbread, like, all different types of stuff with corn, tamales, and, like, all different types of stuff with corn. Just, like, so much stuff. And if you think of, like, about Thanksgiving, how, like, we like to gather and eat and stuff. And, you know, when they say about the Pilgrims and the Indian story, how, like, they got slaughtered and it was giving them food and stuff, like, we naturally still do those things, like, our traditions. I just want to say, we are the American Indians. Like, yes, it's probably gonna be hard to, like, trace that stuff back, but, like, if you think about it, it makes sense. I don't understand, like, I don't know, sorry if I keep saying, like, but when you just think about it, How can we just take boats and boats and millions of people over here and they just know how to do all these crops and stuff? No. We are the original people of the land. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that in the diaspora because they feel like, oh, America is European land. Yes, because they was basically taking us out and we were fighting and stuff like that, and we had to have multiple different Europeans come over here and like help take us down or whatever. But if you think about it, just look at the patents and all the stuff in the United States. How are we doing all that stuff as slaves? Like, it just don't make sense. The boats, all that stuff, it just don't make sense. And where's the boats? Where's the boats? The slave quarters is still here, but no boats. And they took on our names and took our names like we took theirs to take over our land. I don't know, but you can agree to disagree. But if you just use common sense, it'll just tell you right there. It just makes sense. We're the only people that have a paper genocide on this land. We the only people getting a hard time getting reparations, and why they can get all this money to like foreigners and stuff like that, because they're not gonna give it to us because we the people of the land, so they trying to make us suffer. But they give everybody else all these perks and stuff. They can come over here and do all this stuff because they don't care, because it's not their land. It's not theirs, so they don't care about giving it away. But just something was on my mind. I was thinking about it, but I don't know. Just research, and I mean, if you believe that, hey, that's on you. You might have some African in your ancestry. Now, I do think like melanated people as a whole, I wouldn't call us like all Africans, but I would say we kind of like similar when it comes to genetic makeup, kind of like how the Asian people, you got the Chinese, the Japanese, Thailand, Filipinos and stuff like that, the Mongolian people, where, you know, like Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, stuff like that, the Europeans, you know, Italian and Irish, all of them. Like, I would say as melanated people, we are similar, like genetically, but we not consider all African, if that makes sense.